It's April 10th, and we're still talking about all the severe weather that has happened over the past couple of months here around the United States. In Alabama, we've had over 40 tornadoes. In fact, we're up to 50 tornadoes right now, but nationwide, we have 516 total reports of tornadoes through this past weekend. Things have finally started to quiet down a little bit, but this is the average line. Normally, we would have about 286 reports of tornadoes through this point. 516 would be fairly typical of early May. So we're about a month ahead of schedule. And what do things look like going forward from here, though? Well, there's some good news and some bad news. The bad news is this is still approaching the peak of tornado season, but the good news, if there's any to be found, is that we actually have drier than average conditions expected around a good chunk of the Ohio Valley, the southern plain states, into the Tennessee Valley region, and into central Alabama too. Now, this is the European guidance right here. This is the GFS American guidance right here. And you can see there's a little difference in between the two, but a couple of things to note. One, this area in the Gulf, that's the rain and thunderstorm action that's coming with this developing low that will develop over the next couple of days and spread some rain towards central and north Alabama. You can see the GFS looks a little bit different on that, a little bit more in the way of precipitation, a little bit farther scattered across the Gulf coastal states as well. But then we get up here toward Minnesota and into Wisconsin. You've got quite a bit of precipitation up this way. The European doesn't show exactly the same thing, but you kind of get the idea that there's some similarities here where there's just not a whole lot happening right here in what you might consider to be the hot spot for tornado activity at this point in the year, that being the southeast as well as the Midwest and the southern plain states. Is that going to change? Probably. This is about a 10 to 15 day gap, maybe a 2-week gap in the severe weather season for a good chunk of the country. And then we're going to likely move right back into it going toward the end of April and the first part of the month of May. So 50 tornadoes recorded so far across the state of Alabama going back to January. And it's affected every part of the state, maybe not every county in the state, but you can see the outlines here. Some of those right there in the middle of Alabama were back in January. Those killer EF3 tornado down in Autauga County. And then we had the EF3 that came across Mississippi and then ended up dropping some smaller tornadoes across Marion County. We had our EF2 back in January near Double Springs. The EF2 up here in March between Danville and Falkville and Hartselle. And then, of course, the killer EF3 that happened up around Hazel Green just a little bit more than a week ago. Also that EF1 that hit near Sardis City and Boaz. So the way things look right now, we are quieting down for about 2 weeks, but it's not going to last, of course. Now, specific to Alabama's weather, things are quiet and dry right now. Here is the storm system that I'm talking about, and there's really nothing to it yet. There's some clouds over the Gulf of Mexico. What we're seeing here is called convergence. So you've got fast wind, fast wind, fast wind, slow wind, slow wind, slow wind right here. And in between, ultimately what you're going to get is an area of low pressure that develops in this zone right here, and it's going to come northbound. And it likely comes from New Orleans up toward Jackson and then into eastern Mississippi, which is going to put us on the wetter side of it. Could be some locally heavy rain at times, mainly on Thursday into Friday. So there's the low by 11 o'clock Wednesday evening. Clouds are increasing here across central Alabama and Mississippi. The rain is near the Gulf Coast. Then it starts moving northbound, and we get one wave during the day Thursday, another round coming in Thursday night. And as long as we stay in this position relative to this low, it's going to stay a little bit wet and cool. And I think the wettest and coolest weather is likely on Thursday, and then it'll start to get a little bit milder again Friday because we'll get some sun in between the clouds. It's not a tropical system. It's just a happenstance that the thing happens to be where it is. Better chance of rain Thursday into Friday. For Monday night and Tuesday, it's just chilly to start. Then we warm up into the afternoon, getting close to 73 degrees on Tuesday afternoon. And that's 73 in Birmingham, a little cooler to the north, a little bit warmer to the south. And here's our 7-day forecast. Specific to central Alabama, here's how it's going to shape up. 73 on Tuesday, morning low of 44. But look at some of these spots in East Alabama early in the day. 39 Raglan, Gadsden, 41 Center, 46 in Huntsville. But there are cold spots like Valley Head and around Athens and in northern Lawrence County, eastern Lauderdale County, out around Anderson and Rogersville. There are a few spots out there that can easily drop into the upper 30s early Tuesday. Wednesday is nice and dry. Thursday, we are rainy and cooler, and total rainfall Thursday probably in the neighborhood of about a quarter to a half inch from Birmingham north, maybe a half inch to 1 inch from Birmingham south. The greater chance of an inch of rain would be near and south of U.S. Highway 80 in that instance. And then Saturday into Sunday, another round of some scattered showers and storms comes in late Saturday, early Sunday morning. And then look at this. This is coming up down the road, 6 to 10 days in the future. So from our 7-day forecast out, a big area of cooler than average. That's why we think tornado season kind of takes a break here for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, 10 to 15 days roughly. Between now and April 16th, temperatures near or just a bit below average, but certainly after April 20th, I think we're going to start moving back to where we are above average. We get a little bit more of a southerly flow from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to ensure that at least the threat of more thunderstorms exists for another time or two from late April into early May.